Hi, I'm Brittany Murphy, and I'm here with Steve LeDuc to talk about the CSF 25th anniversary celebration. So tell me, what are you guys celebrating?
Well, we're celebrating the founding of CSF, a Citizens Scholarship Fund, which is now called CSS Dollars for Scholars of Marlborough. We're nationally affiliated with a group out of Minnesota, and it's been 25 years.
What makes this anniversary fundraiser more important?
Well, we're actually going to recognize a very special person, our founder, Mary Lou Vanzini, and her finding CSF is only one of the many contributions that she's had to this community over the 50, 60 years that she's been active in the community. So
what can you say about Mary Lou?
It's just the Energizer Bunny, if you will. If you ever get to know her, she's out there walking the streets with her dog. She's out there with her grandchildren at their games. She's at meetings. She's just making sure that she's doing her part for her family and her community.
What has she really done to help out CSF?
Well, number one, she found it. Number two, she brought some great people along to get it going. Mary Jo Naraki, Bill Bruin, Lee Benson, Deb Giroux, and a handful of other people throughout the community. And they've put so much time and energy into over the years, and here we are 25 years later.
So tell me what this fundraiser dinner is really going to impose.
So it's going to be a night, October 22nd. We're going to reach out to the community as a whole, reach out to all of Mary Lou's friends and family and people who have worked with her in the past. She served on the school committee. She worked at SAD. She helped found the Girls Incorporated, which is also known as the Girls Club. So she's left an imprint on this community, and so there's a great number of people that want to rally around this day and celebrate her contribution and the fact that CSF has turned 25. So it's going to be a night for everybody. It's going to be, not a sit-down dinner, but like a cocktail party, but there'll be plenty of food catered by Assabet Valley. So no one will walk away hungry, and everybody should walk away with a good time and great memories.
Sounds great. So it's a fundraiser as well.
Exactly. It's $50 a person. We're also soliciting donations for sponsorships and donations for our ad book. So we're hoping to raise about $25,000. That's the stated goal, $25,000 for our 25th year. And I think it's very achievable, and hopefully the community will step up and help us out.
So tell me, what does it mean to have someone like Mary Lou on this organization, the forefront of it?
Well, again, every organization needs a backbone and a leader, and she's been that throughout the years. I mean, she put her good 10 years in at the beginning of it, and then she stepped back and she let other people lead it, whether it be Mary Jo Naraki, Deb Giroux, Brian Murphy, myself, Allison Wood, and now Jennifer Collins. And but Mary Lou is always there. She's just an arm length away to make sure that we're on task, that we're focused, that we're doing what we need to do to make sure that we're raising the money to generate scholarships for the graduation season. So,
how has she really transformed this from over the last 25 years?
Well, it's funny. I mean, they used to do some silly fundraisers, just sitting out the front corner and selling pencils and caps and gowns, or other fundraisers of cow chip bingo, where you would you'd pick out where the cow would plop its patty and win money. But they've had some fun. But at the same time, it's grown, and we've been blessed with an endowment that has put us on a different path, where we were giving out 10 and 20 scholarships, where now we give twice as many of that, and we've doubled our number, where we went from $500 to a scholarship to $1,000, and there are some of the scholarships at $2,500. So, that's the nature of any organization, is to grow, and she's been there making sure that we are growing.
What is something that not everyone might know about Mary Lou in the organization?
I'm probably not the person to say that, but she'll probably tell us in the interview that we have a few minutes later. She's going to be on with us in a few minutes, and we can ask her that question.
All right.
And maybe Deb Giroux knows something else as well. So
we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Steve LeDuc's going to sit down with those two ladies and find out more about this gala.
Hi, I'm Jared Sullinger. I'm here with a live from Horizons for Homeless Children.
Did you know only 15% of homeless children ages 3 to 5 are enrolled in preschool programs? Horizons for Homeless Children is making a difference by helping kids like Aliyah become more competitive and school ready.
Help me raise $10,000 tonight.
Join Comcast Sportsnet and the Boston Celtics as we give these kids a chance to compete. Please donate today. Visit horizonschildren.org.
Do it now.
Well, welcome back. As you've heard with the conversation I had with Brittany, we're celebrating 25 years for CSF and honoring our very good friend Mary Lou Vanzini on October 22nd at the new Senior Center from 7 o'clock until they kick us out. So welcome Mary Lou, welcome Deb. So,
thank you.
Mary Lou, you're our founder. Deb, you're one of our former presidents and one of our longest active volunteers for CSF. And I've come late to the party. I've been active for about 5 or 6 years now. But you were a president yourself. We were all presidents at one time of CSF, and it's been a very special organization raising scholarship monies for all Marlborough youth, boys and girls, young people headed to college. And we've raised over hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it couldn't happen without your initiative, Mary Lou. And before we get to that, we just want to, because we're honoring you, everything you've done for this community since you've been here. And as Deb and myself and you, we're all born and raised in this community. And one other little commonality that we have, all of our fathers worked at the same place over in Westboro at Bay State Abrasive. So just something that's, we've been grounded to this community, and we haven't watched it idly by. We've been very active trying to make it a better place to live. So born and raised here. Where did you grow up, Mary Lou?
On East Main Street.
On East Main Street.
Right, in what is now Downey Insurance.
Downey
That was our
Insurance.
house.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Across the street from Walnut Street and right
Yeah.
there. So,
I
which
used
is
to
now
walk around the corner to.
which is now a 4-lane highway.
Way.
Yep.
Well,
and now
almost.
you went to Marlborough High.
Yes.
Yeah, class of '59.
Uh-huh.
And you were a class officer there, or?
No, I was not a class officer. I was just involved. Something probably not a lot of people except my classmates know is that there wasn't a lot of athletics for girls back at that time. So you had basketball, cheerleading, and softball, I think it was. So for those of you who don't know, I was a cheerleader back then in those days.
That makes sense, given how much advocacy work you've done over the years, you know?
Right.
So, were you at the top of the pyramid?
Oh, I don't think we did pyramids
Okay.
at that point.
All right.
That's too dangerous.
Who was your Marlboro Panther back in the day?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't remember?
I don't remember who
All right.
that is.
I remember Franny Duran was at one time. Not
Yeah.
Franny, Raymond Duran.
Raymond Duran.
So,
Yeah.
so from high school you went on to where?
I went to Chamberlain School of Retailing. I studied retailing and that kind of
And
stuff.
at some point in time you became Mrs. Richard Vanzini.
Yes.
What year was that?
63.
63.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have 3 children,
I do.
and their names?
Tina is my oldest, Tracy is the middle one, and Rick is the
And
youngest.
Tracy and I are classmates. We
Yes, they
graduated
are.
in '86 at Marlborough High. So,
Yeah.
very good. So what was your first imprint on this community?
Well, the first time that I actually got involved was while I was in high school. There was a boys' club, but girls were not allowed in the boys' club. It was only for boys. And so after a lot of lobbying, Joe Hannigan and Ralph Grasso agreed that there should be at least one night a week that girls could come to the boys' club. And so that was my first endeavor into the foray of seeing something that was missing and needed to be done. And
But obviously one night in a week wasn't
well,
enough.
no, actually, no, it wasn't enough because as after I graduated and went to college and got married, my friend Delma Josephson, who actually went to school with my sister, who was younger than I, spent a lot of time pushing baby carriages, and we talked about the fact that there was no place for young girls to go. And in 1965, that's actually how we started the Girls Club.
So
together.
1965.
1965.
So you had one baby
One
at the time?
small baby, and she had one small baby.
Okay, very good. And the thing, Delma Josephson has a great birthday, February 29th, just like
the
myself.
Same as yours.
So,
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of commonalities. So was that? Did you have to go out and raise money for that?
Oh
or did
yes, it was difficult. We had a boys' club basically for a reason, because Marlborough was and still is an old boys organization. We still have, a lot of people who band together who really believe in the boys' activities, but getting them to understand that girls were different and separate and needed different kinds of things. So it was difficult, I would say.
So from 1965 until you ran for school committee, which was the late 70s, early 80s?
1978, I think.
When you
Joe
ran for school, so
Ferrecchia.
13 to 15 years before you. So you were pretty active with the girls' club, getting that up and running. Where was the first girls' club? Where was the first?
The girls' club, there was actually, I would guess you would say that in the building on the corner of Mechanic Street and Lincoln Street, that big 3-tier building.
Okay.
That was where we basically.
The old Marlborough Savings Bank?
No, the old, it's now apartments.
Okay.
Okay. In that building on the second floor, they were very nice to give us room space. I don't believe we paid rent for it. And then we went out and begged other spaces. The gas company, which was down on Main Street and sold stoves and things like that, they allowed us to have a cooking class there. We finally talked Lou Galoni into letting us have some programs at the where his old office was, the old Poor Farm. And his only criteria was that make sure you bring your garbage home. Don't leave anything here.
Good old Lou Galoni.
Good old
with a
Lou
cigar in
Galoni.
his mouth behind his desk.
Right.
Behind his desk.
And
if I could just, Deb, so in 1965, 66, you're probably still a young adolescent girl at the time. Do you remember the girls? Do you remember the girls' club?
I do remember the girls' club, although I never participated in the girls' club. My mom didn't drive, and it was probably too far for us to walk, although we did walk everywhere in Marlborough.
Yeah.
It just was something I never was involved in personally, but a lot of my friends were, so.
And a lot of those friends have carried over and now still volunteer with CSF.
Very good. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And because we only have a short amount of time here, I want to get all of your accomplishments within our thing. So segue to school committee. So 15 years later, what makes you run for school committee?
There was a lot going on in the schools, and I wasn't particularly happy with what it was. There was vandalism going on in the schools. It was just a whole lot of very different than what it was now, and I thought that I could add my 2 cents to what was going on and help things out. And so I decided to run for school committee.
Now, from past conversations, did Bob Duran and Chuck Anastas help you with, that early race, that first race?
Yeah, that very first race.
So those guys went on to be big things on in their own life too.
Right.
But just to know the relationships that were created. Who else helped you get elected to school committee?
At that time, Gary Benson also ran for
Gary
city
Benson,
council.
yep.
Yes, and he and I were very close, and we did. Things are so different now. I guess they still do have coffees, but we had coffees when we went house to house and met people. You used to have coffees when you, and a lot of them Gary and I did together, and Joe Ferrecchia ran at the same time.
Sure.
And at the same time, we had a lot of outside assistance from Chet Atkins, who really, kind of gave us a background on what.
He wrote a book on how to run for an election.
He did write a book.
You won your first race?
Won, yes.
Did you top the ticket, or did you just get in, or how did it go?
I topped the ticket.
Good for you.
I did, yeah.
Good for you.
And there was a big crowd that started out for some reason. A lot more people were running for school committee. I think we started with maybe 12 people, and then we had to have a primary and that kind of stuff.
So you topped the ticket. Very good.
And I served. They're 4-year terms for school committee,
right.
And I served 3 terms, 12 years.
What was one or two of the most memorable things you did on school committee that you're proud of?
Oh my! There were a lot of things that I did, and to pick one particular thing out, I remember one, making sure that we had trainers on the
Athletic
field.
fields, yep.
And available, and in the school, we had a daycare center that was in the high school. At that time, there was an awful lot of teen pregnancy going on, and the girls were dropping out of school. And in order to forestall that and provide services, we had a daycare center where...
So if I could, just only because that's 35 years ago.
Right.
And there were teen pregnancies back then.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And now we think about our cities today. Our city today, it's a busier city, it's a more diverse city. And we're talking about an issue that you were dealing with 35 years ago.
Right.
And they're dealing with it today, but it's not that prevalent today.
No.
Because school committee people like yourself and thoughtful people got ahead of the curve and try to do in terms of prevention and
Right.
education. But amazing that 35 years ago that you were dealing with these issues.
We also, 35 years ago, were dealing with space issues, the same space issues that they're dealing with right
today.
now.
Right. Yep. And the
Right.
community keeps growing. So I
Right.
mean, and then
Right.
when you served, you experienced yours. I had to vote for a school in the 90s. So I mean, and you closed some schools, Freeman School,
We
Mitchell
did,
School,
because
Bigelow
of
School.
Proposition 2.5.
Yep.
Yes, we did.
Yep.
And you don't really want to get me going on
No, but
Proposition
we don't have
2.5.
time. But we have,
No.
we only got a thumbprint that
Right
we
there.
got today. So, how many years in the school committee?
12.
12. So, right till like the late 80s, early 90s.
89, 90.
Right.
90.
So,
And actually, as I was ending was when I started CSF.
but you did something else prior to that.
Prior to that, and I can't, okay, so
1986.
26, yeah, 1986.
1986.
Your
My graduating
graduation.
class, you created an event that's still going today.
The all-nighter.
The All-Nighter.
Yes.
Tell us what the All-Nighter is.
The all-nighter is a safe prom night, and actually at the time, Marlborough was experiencing, like other communities everywhere, we were no different. The idea that you went to the prom and then you went out drinking and driving and going from party to party. And it was just a horrific night for teachers and parents because you just knew that's what they were planning to do. So we started the all-nighter, which was an after-prom party that went from the end of the prom until 5 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah.
It was free, everything was provided, and the first year we ran it at Marlborough High School.
I remember, we played volleyball in the high school. We played
right.
volleyball
We
in the high
showed
school.
movies
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
And Deb, you remember your children going to the
Oh,
All-Nighter?
yes.
And did you help out at some All-Nighters as
I
well?
helped out for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best things Mary Lou could have ever done for
As a community, yeah.
For the
I mean, so
community.
still,
Still.
to this day.
And I know that I think people don't realize how big the connection between teachers and students are, and how much they actually really care for their students. Because after that first year, the amount of teachers who came up and said, "Oh, thank you, it was the first night I slept."
Right, yeah, no, I mean,
And so it was
peace of mind for the parents.
parents, right.
And the teachers, right?
Yeah.
Because they let them go,
Yeah.
so. So you were bored 3 years later and you founded?
I wasn't exactly bored. Myself and Bruce Campbell and his wife, he was on the school committee.
Sally Campbell, my kindergarten teacher.
Right. We were on the school committee together, and we went to a National School Committee conference in California. And there was a person there from Citizen Scholarship Foundation at one of those tables, hundreds of tables that they have, and it just clicked. And I said, we really need to have that. We're a middle-class community. It was hard for people, and at that time, the cost of college education was so much less than now, but even so, it was still an issue. And so I said, I think we really should do this. And I brought it back and talked to Dave Flynn about it, and that's how we started the CSF.
And who did you reach out to get it going? Because you didn't do it just alone.
Oh, no. I never did anything alone. Nothing would have worked if it weren't, and I want to truly say hundreds and hundreds of people who helped out. And that's one of the things about the celebration that I'm really hoping will happen, is that all of those old people who stepped up then to help out will step up now and help to pay it forward for scholarships for students coming up and for many years to come. So no.
Just let me pay it forward. You've been saying that for about a year and a half now.
Yes, I have.
And I think you got that from where?
It's a very common
It
phrase
is.
that you hear it from a lot of people, that they want to pay it forward. And technically what it means is something's good happened to you, and therefore you want to pay it forward to help other people. And it's taken many, many forms. And someone has written a book about it, which I can't think of what the name of it was, but that's basically what it is. And if I have somehow, in the past years, helped somebody through the Girls Club, through the All-Nighter, through a former scholarship, I'm hoping that they will come to the celebration and help us to increase those coffers so that we will, in the future, be able to give more scholarships, more money, and for longer periods of time.
Deb, what can you say about Mary Lou and CSF over these last 25 years?
Well, she's certainly been a leader since the day I met her. No matter what, she's there helping people. She's a cheerleader. She gets the group going. If we get kind of like stagnant, she comes in and she'll say, "We're going to do this. We're going to do this." She has a great way of talking us into doing things. She's got a way about her, and she's probably got the biggest heart of anybody I've ever met. I could cry.
No crying. No crying on the set. We
But it's
saved
true.
that for the
She
night.
is
So.
the kindest person, and she has worked so hard for this community.
Well, and it goes to what Deb says and why we're here, and talking about paying it forward. You give your time and your energy. It's an investment of your time, and you want a return on that investment, and
Right.
you want a better community, and so many other people benefit from it. We didn't get a chance to talk about the garden club. I mean, you're also in the garden club. You didn't find? Did you find the garden club?
No. Oh,
All
no.
right.
The garden club's 50 years old. I didn't find the garden club.
Okay.
And that's a fun time for me, basically. I do enjoy that.
Yeah. Well, where do you get the time and the energy? Because
Oh,
you
I-
also have grandchildren.
Yes.
And they're between here and California. And you make time for everybody and
I try.
everything. Well, that's it. And you can't be done without trying. And unfortunately, we only got like a minute and a half left. So what do you want to say in closing in terms to our audience about making sure that we have a successful celebration?
That you all reach out and that you all come, and if you are a member of any of the things that I've talked about, I have to tell you that I do remember a lot of things about the Girls Club. I remember the little kids who used to have little puppet shows in their neighborhood to raise money for the Girls Club. The little lemonade stands that would raise money for the Girls Club. I'm hoping to see some of those girls who have grown up, who are now married, and actually I do see some of them sometimes, but the ones that I know were there but I don't remember, I might not remember their name, the kids who receive scholarships, all those kinds of things, I hope that they will all come and say hello and help us raise the money that we need.
We hope to see them there as well. There, October 22nd at the new Senior Center on New Street, 7 o'clock to about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Plenty of food being catered by Assabet Valley. It's $50 a person. We're also looking for companies and persons to help sponsor the event, take an ad in our program, make a donation, maybe help us generate a scholarship or two. We are so proud of CSF and the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we've given over the years, the thousands of kids that we've helped in this community, and we want to pave the way for the next 25 years. So Mary Lou, looking forward to celebrating your life on the 22nd. Deb, looking forward to having fun with you. That's all we know how to do is have fun together.
We will have
We want to
fun.
thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you there on October 22nd.